YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of SB Toys. It's your boy SB. First things first, if you're watching me on a desktop computer, mobile laptop, or device that may have that capability, there should be an icon in your lower right hand corner. It's my logo, but you can click on it and you should be able to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If not, just stick around to the end of the video and you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And check out other videos at the end also. Do other videos, a review, showcase, and a lot of other things as well. So anyway, as we've been talking, I'm sure you've been following me, those that you have. We've been doing a lot of reviews on the Marvel Legends from the X-Men Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. And so today we're going to continue that same momentum going into this. Right now what you're looking at is a very popular figure and character here in the X-Men line. And one that definitely put me over the top with going ahead and getting in on this X-Men wave. We're looking at Wolverine here, the classic iconic X-Men character. And now this is the brown suit version. And for some of you who've been collecting Marvel Legends figures for a long time, of course, there's been many Marvel Legends versions of him out there. But this is the latest edition from Hasbro, part of the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. As you can see right now, we got him spinning around in the package. Like a lot of the other X-Men that come in this new wave, the box has this brown, yellow, goldish color scheme palette. On the back here, we have the professional photo of Wolverine posed up with his bio. There are other characters there on the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. As you see it spin around again, you have this little animated drawing here of Wolverine. Then we get back to the front. As you can see, there's Wolverine in the box. And he comes with the Juggernaut head, which is a big important piece to that Build-A-Figure wave if you're planning on doing the Juggernaut figures. So if you want to build him, you're going to need to get this Wolverine figure. So anyway, as I mentioned, there are plenty other Marvel Legends versions of him out here. So if you may have one already, do you really need to get this figure? We're about to find out. As I'm up here holding him, he's very nice, very loose, very sturdy, not too loose on the joints here. Fits well in my hand too. Decent size. And of course, Wolverine being a small character, he's a little short compared in scale to some of the other Marvel Legends figures. As I pointed out earlier, this is the brown suit Wolverine. And being that as I mentioned, there are other Marvel Legends versions of him out here. A lot of people, off initial impression, this is pretty much similar to the Series 6 Wolverine, which I have right here, and I can give you a side-by-side comparison. As you can see, the color a little bit is more on the darker side as far as the browns. Wolverine on the Series 6, as far as the yellows, a little more darker tint. More detail in the arms and stuff, and articulation range is a little different. So those are some differences you can see there in a little side by side. But standing alone, this is a pretty good Wolverine figure off initial reaction looking at it. He does come with some accessories. Let me go ahead and point that out. As I mentioned, he's the part of the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave. So he comes with Juggernaut's head here. And he comes with some interchangeable hands. He has, of course, his hands with the claws, and then he comes with two hands, fists with the claws drawn in. And all you have to do is just to change those out. As normal with any interchangeable hands on the Marvel Legends figures, you just pull that out. Then you take your other hand and just ease it in there. And then, as I mentioned always, whenever changing hands or head or whatever may come with the accessory, just easily ease it out. And then just ease back in the other part. Don't yank it aggressively or anything like this. And this comes off pretty easily, so it's not too much of a struggle. Also, let me point out his claws here. Of course, in the package, they kind of bunch up a little bit together. But what I've noticed, and some people have pointed out before, these claws you can actually remove from his fist here. So you can, if you want to spend the time and be precise with it, you can take them out and precisionally fit them in there better, so they're not so jumbled up. I'll probably do that later. I don't want to do it on camera. It's something that you definitely need to be careful with. You don't want to lose a claw. But anyway, as I said, he's pretty smaller in size, so let's give him a measurement here. And looking at the Wolverine, he's right at 5.5 inches. So he's a little smaller compared to the other Marvel Legends figures out there. And let's go ahead and go over some of the articulation points he has here. If we start at the head, he has his left and right turn. He can do the full 360, exorcism style. Turn him to the side. He has his forward tilt, pretty nice range. Pretty nice range going back too. Now let's get to his arm here. Pretty little extension, sideways, not a full extension out. Going forward and backwards, he has a somewhat, doesn't look like a full 360. Actually, he does, depending. And let me point out also, he has this little swivel here near his pectoral muscle. Let him flex in a little bit or extend his shoulder out. So there's a lot of posability and flexibility there. Also has a bicep swivel, as usual, double jointed elbow. Also, if you get down to his wrist here, just tilt it down, tilt the wrist up a little bit, not too much range going up, and then spin it around. We get to his ab here, normal ab crunch. Going forward, he's got a nice range going forward with the ab crunch. Going back has a lot of range as well. And mention also going back, being that he has the pattern in his design, he does, looks like the pattern overlays just a little bit, but not too much. So keep that in mind. Get down to his hip here. Does have full hip swivel 360. And let me point out his belt also moves a little bit. So whenever doing the 360 turn here or moving his hip swivel, keep that in mind, not to let that belt interfere with you while trying to pose him. Let's get to his leg, ball joint here at the leg. Extend it out, not too much range going out to the side, and that's just a little bit. Extend out and going forward, it's got pretty good range here, almost 90 degree. Going back, there's a little limited in range going back. Now, get to his thigh here. Does have thigh swivel, double jointed knee. He also has swivel here at the shin. Ankle, got the ankle pivot going up, tilt down, and you can swivel it around and do a nice little pivot. So overall, pretty solid figure. I'm pretty impressed. I've heard some critiques about, the scale and the proportions. I mean, holding it in my hand, it's not really, I don't notice it being out of proportion too much. I'd say maybe the legs may be slightly a little bigger than they need to be, but it's not to the point to where it's noticeable to where you're like, this figure is way out of proportion. Someone did point out earlier, asked me about if my Wolverine at the ab crunch area was a little wobbly. Now, on my figure, it's not. It's pretty tight, as you can hear it clicking, and I'm shaking a little bit, and there's no wobble at all. It's standing there pretty sturdy. So no issues with the ab crunch. I don't know if that's just limited to that person's figure or a few other people with figures out there have that same issue, but I'm not noticing it on my figure here. Also, let me point out there's a little bit of paint bleed in right here in the ab chest area, and that could just be my figure as well. But overall, paint app looked good. Not too much bleed or anything like that. Of course, maybe, like I said, when you saw the Series 6 comparison, they had a little more detail with the hair on the biceps and stuff like that, and a little shadowing on the costume area. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this figure. Now, let me point out a few things also I forgot to mention. His claws, I do wish that they had a better way of making those a little more sturdy. They do kind of get bunched up together, even though I've tried a few times to position them, separate them a little bit. Maybe I can do the traditional, like the other Wolverine figures, the boiling water or hair dryer method to kind of separate them a little more. Another big issue that a lot of people have brought up is they don't really like too much the facial reaction Seeing him in person doesn't really bother me that much, that he's not doing the intense growl look or the super grunt or whatever you want to call it. But I'm pretty much impressed with this figure. If you don't have a Wolverine figure, especially a Marvel of Legends brand, I definitely say go ahead and pick this up. Now, when it gets to those of you who've already have, especially like the Series 6 version that I compared it to earlier, or any other type of Marvel Legends Wolverine figure, do you want to go ahead and get this one? Well, the reason I ended up getting another one is just because I like the build of this one a little better over the Series 6. And that can be up to the debate. So that's a personal preference. You don't have to get it if you don't feel like you need to get another brown suit Wolverine. But if you are impressed with this one as well, it does have some extra articulation points and things, and a little better as far as articulation points compared to the Series 6. Now, that could be up for debate too, but that's just my input. So anyway, I hope this review helped you out. This is probably going to be a hot figure as well from the new X-Men Marvel Legends Juggernaut Build-A-Figure series. So if you're going to be out there trying to hunt for them in the wild, you can try your Walgreens. That's where I ended up finding this one at. You can check Target, Toys R Us, Walmart. They should be hitting all the retail stores pretty soon if they haven't already. Or if you want to go online, you can go that route as well. Be warned, people out there are going to be selling them probably a little higher than what you can get at retail. So just keep that in mind. But this is definitely a nice pickup. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video review. Hopefully this helps those out looking for him. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there, because I got other figures that you may be interested in that I'll be reviewing or showcase. And so you want to stay up to date with that. Also, be sure if you got this figure as well, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you think as far as some of the things I've said on here, some things you may disagree with or you may agree with, or some things I left out that you may want to add in. Go ahead, leave a comment below, like it, share it with your friends who may be interested in getting this Marvel Legends figure as well. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you too long. I'm out. Y'all be easy. Now overall, this is pretty impressive figure here, nice size. This new cable design I'm not too familiar with. I'm more of one of those out there who watched the 90s cartoons and kept up with them from the old school X-Men series. So the cable was a little different there from this one, but I'm impressed with this figure as well.